Welcome back to the program agenda. And for our next topic, we are going to be talking about senior home, a residence for senior citizens requiring special care, particularly those with dementia, Alzheimer's, etc. And our guest is none other than Marc Daubenbuechel, the founder and managing director of RainTree Care Services and Senior Residences. Marc, good morning.
Hi, good morning, Cito. Pleasure to being here this morning.
Okay, your post on Facebook really caught my attention because I think this is the first time I have seen any organization or anyone post about a Philippine-based senior residence facility. Now, some people might say, has he lost his mind in the Philippines? Filipinos take care of their own. He's going to go broke, etc. How did this all happen? I gather you are not Filipino. You are from what country again?
I'm from Germany, Cito.
Okay.
You fully have a point. I think it was not only that he's crazy, but it was partly seen as an affront. Because if you look at the Filipino culture, right, you are very much known to look after your own elderly. So the reason why I came up with the idea was I used to work quite long with the foreign chamber here, and we marketed the Philippines as retirement destination and as medical tourism destination. And I got always approached by Filipinos. So we have the DSWD for the poor, we have the Philippine Retirement Authority for the foreigners, but who's going to look after the middle class and upper class Filipinos? And when I looked at the market, there was such a big need for specialized care for dementia or stroke. Because there basically was none in the country. There were a few small ones, and we looked into it. And then I said, I think it's really something that's needed, and I'm going to give this a risk and see if we are going to go bankrupt or not, as you put it earlier. So our clients are 50% Manila based, and then 50% Filipinos returning from the United States, because if you look at the care costs there, especially now what happened during COVID, you're looking at $10,000 per month. And who can afford this kind of care? And many Filipinos want to return home. And so we created a home for those Filipinos.
Okay, looking at the videos and the ones I've seen online, you've set your place up as a resort, or it looks like a resort. You have the pool, you have the lanais, you have the gardens, but you mentioned special care for dementia, Alzheimer's, or stroke victims. Traditionally in the Philippines, if you come down with a serious stroke or dementia, it is simply just as long as they're comfortable, give them their medicines and they sleep. That has been the traditional technique of families, because they're not really, medical practitioners. But at RainTree, what sort of special care or specialized care do you provide?
I think if you look at stroke patients, which is really a big passion of mine, and I think much more can be done. You have a stroke, you're brought to the hospital. If you can afford, you stay 2 months in the hospital, and most of the time you don't even have a picture on your wall. And if you're in a hospital, you always feel sick. Then you leave the hospital, you're brought back home, but your recovery quite often stagnates during this time. So you are missing the gap in between. And if you look at US or Europe, you have the hospital, you stay 1 or 2 weeks there. After that, the acute care usually stops. Yeah. Then you are brought as a transition into a rehabilitation home, because the first 6 months are crucial. So we got to work on you with physical therapists, occupational therapists, and speech therapists to bring you as fast as possible, help your brain remember what it did before, that you can go home and not be at home 2 years in bed and then you don't get better anymore.
Okay, the business model. Can people bring their elderly relatives just for the therapy portion? Because I have been helping quite a number of friends and associates who have someone who came down with the stroke, a form of aneurysm, and they tell me the struggle of having to get their loved one into a wheelchair, into a van, bringing them to the therapist, etc., or to the hospital, waiting there for 2 hours and then driving back, etc. So half their day is gone, if not more. Can they actually bring someone to RainTree and just say, "Hey, Mark, can you just give the therapy intervention for my father, mother, or our spouse"?
At the moment, it's really a stay in out of 2 reasons. So
yeah, I mean stay in, but just for the therapy and not a long term. Because my father-in-law, who's Dutch, he stayed in a care facility long term until he departed. But if someone approach you, we're not looking at forever here, but just for the therapy. Do you accept that?
Yes, we do. That's usually then 3 to 6 months, depending on the stroke, the motivation that someone has.
Yeah.
Our issue is that we are always fully booked. We basically don't have beds available.
Oh, okay.
So before we partnered with hospitals, but because of our high occupancy, it's difficult for us to accept clients.
Okay, now, so how does your business model go so that people understand? Okay, I have someone who's got Alzheimer, dementia, stroke victim. I need to earn a living. Someone has to take care of my loved one. They go to RainTree. How does the process go?
So what we do is because we are also located in a gated community, so we don't accept walk-in clients. So they call us. We have an initial understanding what is the need of the client. Then we make an online assessment, and then we come up, especially now if it's dementia, also we come up with a so-called care plan. So we discuss with the family what is important for you, for your relative, what were the routines before. Then we come up with a care plan. We send our proposal to the families. They usually ask questions, and then we come up with a contract. But we don't have any lock-in period, so you can basically move into RainTree. And if we don't fulfill your expectations, so for example, you say, no, my cousin doesn't like it, no problem. They can leave the facility basically at any time. So it's really a long-term care facility, but we are also an open door facility. So we want.
In terms of expertise, who are the people, or what qualifications does the staff or your consultants have for handling special care for this special patients?
So our team is composed of a geriatric doctor, our director of nursing, that's my mom, and nurses and caregivers. What we do is, if you look at the nursing curriculum in the Philippines, you have around 48 hours of geriatric training. If you look at Germany, it's specialization for 4 years. It's a geriatric nurse. So we have a specific training program that the nurses and caregivers, which are used to short-term care, undergo to become capable of doing the long-term care as we give it in a German environment.
Where exactly are you located? You mentioned gated community, but I'm not sure I know where your facilities are.
We are located in Dona Rosario Heights. It's in Sucat, Muntinlupa. I'm a strong believer of the expansion towards the south currently. So we have located us in the south and are currently looking at Nuvali area for expansion.
Okay, that's a good strategy. Now, looking at your facility, very nice to look at. The rooms are very Filipino, if I can say
Salamat.
that. And but in terms of the daily life of a patient, especially, I mean, how do you handle someone with dementia? That person will probably every morning, where am I? Who are you? Why am I here? And things can get loud or rowdy, as they say.
It it usually actually I consider our place a really fun place. Quite often you think dementia nursing home, it's a sad place and people can look at videos. So we have a daily structure. Even if you have dementia, the structure is so important, and it starts with breakfast, taking a shower, and then everyone does exercises by the pool. Breathing exercises, not only during times of COVID, are very important for the elderly. And we have social programs in our social area. We have lunch, then we have nap time, then we have pool exercises again. So you give them a structure which provides security. All of us know that, but especially if you have dementia. And our staff is handled how to treat people with dementia. Usually, let's say my mom would have dementia. There's so many emotions involved of such a different level, which would make it way difficult for me to deal with a family relative. But if you have this space and you are trained professionally in how to respond, because someone with dementia lives in his own world, you don't say, no, this person is dead already. You can leave them in this spot, especially if it comes up and up again. That way you don't trigger the person with dementia to get noisy or violent.
Yeah, I remember my mother always would tell me, when are we going to eat? And I would tell her, you just ate. And this kept going on and going on until one day I said, I'm going to take a video of her eating. And when she asked me again, when are we going to eat? Here, you just ate. Look at your dress. Look at this dress. I said, no, you're fooling me. She just loves to eat. I said, there's nothing wrong with you. You just want to eat.
The seniors all love sweet. They all do. Yes.
Okay. Mark, there's this issue that recently came up. My wife is from the Netherlands, and we were comparing cultural notes. And we both agreed that Filipino homes, families in general, tend to baby seniors. The minute you become 60 or 65, they think you're incompetent. They think you're weak. They think you should just be resting. What is the philosophy in RainTree?
Yeah, it's interesting that you mention it. We struggle with this as well. Because if you baby a senior, they lose their capabilities faster. You need to try to keep seniors independent. So we do a biography. We try to understand the history. And if someone was a Spanish teacher, you enable them to teach Spanish. If someone was loved doing household chores, they continue folding the laundry. So it's not that we are trying to save on staffing costs if our seniors fold the laundry, but it helps to stay active and with the motor capabilities. So we also have chicken. So our seniors are tasked to feed the chicken because many of them grew up 8 years ago on a farm. So we try to bring this back a little bit to have an active lifestyle rather than passive and just sitting in front of the TV.
Okay, I would assume, and I hope it's not a spoiler, but I would assume that you have very limited guests, all patients or residents also, because of the cost involved. Because looking at your facility, it looks more like a resort than a hospital. You have quite a big team of healthcare providers. How many rooms or guests are you able to accommodate long term?
We currently have 27 rooms, and we are expanding on site currently by another 10 rooms. And then we are looking at coming up with a 60-bedroom facility in several houses down in the Nuvali area. So we try to not institutionalize, but always work with family homes to that you have the feeling you're not in an institution, right?
You're in a house.
Yeah, you are in a house. And you need to make small care units because COVID won't be the last outbreak. we had. So if you have a few people in a house, the less likely is to have an outbreak.
Okay, what about costs, Mark? Difficult question, but it has to be
No,
asked.
it's totally okay. So if you look at RainTree, we started 90,000 pesos a month, which is a very high cost, which around 5% of the population can afford. The long term, you need to build institution with more bed because it helps you to be able to provide cheaper beds. But you also, it's like hotels, right? You have 5-star hotels, you have 3-star hotels, you have 2-star hotels, and there are more and more players for different categories to come into the game. Problem is really for those the class C, D, and E that struggle. During the time with the foreign chambers, we also talked to PhilHealth. There is no plan yet to look at long-term care, and the Philippines is already an aging society.
Is there such a thing in Germany where your health service insurance covers part of? I know in Europe, if I checked in, my retirement or support from the state would pay for that, and when I pass away, whatever is left goes into the facility to sustain the facility.
100% free in Germany. It's all paid for by the long-term care insurance.
Wow. Okay. So 90,000 at the moment.
90,000 at the moment, and then depending on the care level, or if you want to have a suite, of course, it's more expensive.
Yeah, that includes food, nursing,
aircon,
everything,
housekeeping, laundry, everything except medications and care materials, which is highly individual.
Okay, well, so it's RainTree, and you are in the Las Piñas. Did I hear right?
The Sucat Muntinlupa.
Sucat Muntinlupa area. You are obviously on the internet. You have your own website, and I wish you well in your business endeavor, because you are doing something good for those who loved us, those who cared for us, and it is now our turn to give back. Thank you very much, Mark.
Thank you so much. I appreciate being here.
Okay, that's Mr. Marc Daubenbuechel, Buchel, I think. Buchel, German. So it should be Buchel, okay. Managing Director, RainTree Care, Services and Senior Residences. And some of you might go, wow, 90,000. Well, when you put up electricity for one room, aircon, lights, food, etc., it adds up, and nurse, then it just makes sense that would be the going rate. Okay, let's go for our closing blessing for the day, for the week. Psalm 77, verse 11 to 13. I will call to mind the deeds of the Lord. I will remember your wonders of old. I will meditate on all your work and muse on your mighty deeds. Your way, O God, is holy. What God is great as our God. Okay, and that's it. May the Lord bless all of you. And please, if you can, give your Lala a call, give your Lolo a call, and your parents as well. Love back, because they have loved you. I'm Cito Beltran. Please keep it here on One News PH.